Hi everyone, welcome back to Mrs. J's Cooking. So today what we're going to be doing is making a naan bread, which is a flatbread. This is something that you could make easily without yeast if you don't have that at home. I'm just going to show you some tricks. It's pretty simple, so let's get started. Alright, so some ingredients that you need for this recipe. You need flour, coarse salt, baking soda, canola oil, butter, milk, and water and sugar. All of those things you'll need, so make sure you have those ready to go. You can use a KitchenAid mixer with this, or you can just simply mix it in the bowl by hand. I'm going to try it out by hand today and just see how it goes for my students. I'm so excited to make this recipe. It is absolutely one of our favorites whenever we go to Disney. They have this wonderful bread service at a restaurant called Sanaa. Flatbread, and then there's lots of dipping sauces with it. Just something a little bit different I thought would be fun for you to try. First thing I'm going to do 3 2/3 cups of flour. So I already have 1 cup in here. I'm going to go ahead and get my next few. Make sure you level this off. You can add flour to it later if necessary when we're rolling it out, but I want to have the accurate measurements for the recipe. So there I have 3 cups and I need 2/3, so I'm going to take my 1/3 measuring cup twice and just go ahead and add this right in to my flour. Next ingredient, what we're going to need to add is sugar. We need 1 tablespoon of sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and get this and actually level this off. We don't want to have too much of a good thing, right? They say you can't have too much of it, but you can sometimes. Let me just level that off. We'll throw that in here. So we're gonna add flour, salt, and baking soda all to this bowl here. Half a tablespoon of baking soda. So I'm gonna go ahead and level this off. I'm gonna level this off here. Hi, Winston. Winston came in the kitchen for a little drink and a snack. You can hear him. So now we're going to whisk or mix this all together so it's all blended, and then we're going to work on our liquid ingredients. Hi, buddy. There are a couple ways that you can cook this. I'm going to use my oven today, but if you want to use a cast iron skillet, you could do that. I'm going to actually use the oven. I need to set the temperature to 500 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what I'm going to do is just get it nice and hot, and then later we're going to use the broiler. But like I said, if you want to do the option of using a cast iron skillet and you can cook it over the heat, that's fine too. At this point, I'm going to add together our liquid ingredients. So we need 2/3 of a cup of warm water. Just add that. This is in a separate bowl, by the way. Then we need a tablespoon of canola oil. And try to swoosh some water in there just to make sure we get all of it out of there. So I need 1/2 cup of milk. So we're going to go ahead and add the milk in. All of that in together, and we're going to whisk this, and then we will add it into our flour mixture. Set that aside. It's mixed up really well. And I just realized I forgot to add the salt. I need 1 tablespoon of coarse salt. Oh, that one's wet, so we're going to. Coarse salt is a salt that's a little bit thicker. I'm using kosher salt, but there are other salts that you can use, if you can see here. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this in since I forgot the salt, but you know what? This happens sometimes. Now what I'm gonna do is make a well in the center, a little hole, and pour in my liquid ingredients right into the center. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that in. And then what I'm gonna do is just gently combine all of the flour and the liquid ingredients together until it is just mixed. We don't want to overmix this recipe. now that my dough is just combined, what I'm gonna do is actually use some plastic wrap. I'm gonna cover the dough and just set it somewhere so it's at room temperature for an hour. Once that hour is up, we'll take a look at our dough and then we're going to separate it into 5 pieces. We're gonna get cooking it. While I'm waiting for my dough to rise for that hour, I'm going to make a dipping sauce that goes really good with this naan bread. Now at this restaurant that we usually get it, there are 9 different sauces served with it at Sanaa, and one of them is a mango chutney. There's so many very good recipes, but I don't have all of the ingredients here at home with me, but I did have the ingredients for the cucumber dipping sauce. So to make that, I'm going to show you, it's really easy if you have the ingredients on hand. For this dipping sauce, you need 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cumin, or you could use 1/2 of a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and then 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using kosher salt, but you could use coarse salt. We're gonna go ahead and just add that into our yogurt. Next, what you need is 1 cucumber, and it needs to be peeled, de-seeded, and chopped up, and then 1/2 of a jalapeno diced. We're gonna add this in next. Use my rubber scraper here. We're just going to mix this all together. That looks perfect. This is gonna go so well with our naan bread. So it has been an hour, and now it's time to pour our dough and then roll it out. We're going to actually cut this into 6 different pieces. And roll it out into 8-inch circles. I'll need to flour the counter here for a little bit, but I'm just gonna bring this together with my hands because it's still a little bit crumbly, and that's okay. I have our dipping sauce made already, and I have that in the refrigerator. I'm so excited to have it because it's really refreshing, and this is going to be just a great, great snack. So we're gonna go ahead and flour the surface, and then you're gonna take one of your sections of dough. I've cut it into 6 different sections. Get some flour on our rolling pin, and we're gonna roll it out to about an 8-inch circle. If you don't wanna use the rolling pin, you can do that by hand and just shape your dough until it gets to the size that you want it. And your dough isn't going to be perfect. It's not going to be a perfect circle. It has a real rustic look to it. We just want it approximately 8 inches wide at one part. Continue shaping the dough with all of your pieces. You will cook them individually. So now that I've flattened the dough, I'm just waiting for my oven to finish preheating. It needs to be 500 degrees, and I actually have a pizza pan in there, or you could do a baking sheet that I'm putting it in to preheat. Then we're going to turn the broiler on. Oh, there it is, perfect timing. Then we're gonna turn the broiler on and broil each piece for just a few minutes. Now remember that butter? We're gonna put it in the microwave for just about 15 seconds. We wanna make sure that it is nice and melted, because as we bring the flatbread out of the oven, we're going to brush the top of it so it has that nice buttery flavor to it. Perfect. I have a pastry brush ready that I'm going to use here too. Let's check on our bread. Stop timer. So this is coming out of the oven. It looks perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and get my next piece ready, and we're gonna put it right in underneath the broiler. Now you must set a timer for 2 to 3 minutes and keep an eye on it, because we are using the broiler. It can burn very easily, so you want to just make sure that you watch it so this bread does not burn. Time to butter the one we just took out of the oven though. This butter is going to absorb in and add a nice flavor to your flatbread. The naan bread is out of the oven. I've brushed it with butter and it looks amazing. We have 6 pieces here, and this is like a great part of a meal. You could turn the naan bread into different things if you wanted to make something out of it, but it is really good with dipping sauce, and there's so many good dipping sauces available online, but the cucumber one that I made is amazing. It's really refreshing. It has undertones of the jalapeno flavor and just a hint of the cumin. It's delicious on this bread. So whenever Mr. J gets home, we're gonna make sure he tries it, and I'm gonna let him tell you what he thinks of it. Make sure, if you haven't done so, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Also, if you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribed. All right, so he's home. We have our naan bread. That is a recipe like your favorite bread service at Sanaa at Disney.
Yeah, super pumped.
Look at that.
It looks, like look at this. It looks legit, like it's from there. Nice.
You excited?
Nice and toasted, I am.
And then I made the cucumber because we had to stick to our list and use things we had on hand. So I only used 2 vegetables, 2 things off of that second list. And I did the cucumber, I don't know what you call it. Cucumber dipping sauce.
It had it has like a real name.
Ratatata.
Ratatata.
So
right.
You want to try that out and see what you think. I love it. I think it's really good.
So we've been fans of bread service at Sanaa for a long time. This one's, I don't want to say one of my favorites. I always like the spicier ones, but on top of that, I like mixing them. So I'm looking forward to attempting to make some of these other sauces. Yeah. But it looks good. It looks like it should. It's got the good chunks of cucumber in it. The bread's holding up nicely. See? Huh?
What's my grade?
That's really good. Like A-ish.
Ish.
I'm not looking at animals. Oh wait, hi Winston! What are you doing?
Oh, like
it's
at
a
the
giraffe!
restaurant.
Now it's an A+. This is good. Super simple. That's the best part. Super simple.
Yeah,
you were talking about a pizza stone earlier.
Yeah,
it
said to use a pizza stone, but we didn't need one. So we just used a baking pan. Try this recipe out at home. It's really good. You can make all kinds of different sauces. If you're not sure what kind of sauces you would use, look up bread service at Disney Animal Kingdom, and there are different recipes, or you can make your own.
It's called Sanaa.
Sanaa, but that's an easy one. It will still come up with that. But thanks so much for watching. This was so much fun to do. Tell me in the comments down below, have you ever tried the bread service? Have you ever gone to Sanaa? Tell us, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Peace out, yo.